Today I'm not even here to really bring anything up or to, um, you know, do any of that conventional thing. I'm mostly here because I've really been thinking. And as people, sometimes we tend to really take for granted our being. And when I say we take for granted our being, we just assume that we're going to get the next breath of air. We just assume that we're guaranteed that next heartbeat. And we're always worrying about tomorrow, but we're never worrying about right now, because right now things can change. When we talk about things changing right now, it's always in a positive sense. And it's true, things can change for the better quickly. But we never talk about change happening where it's like you're hit with a stroke and one side of your body is paralyzed. Or in 1 minute, someone you love is like right there with you, and the next thing you know, like they're just gone, you know. We talk about stability. A storm could just come and you can lose your home and all your possessions, or you can go to work and find out there is no job for you anymore. And we take that for granted. And why? Why is it so easy for us to take for granted blessings? Why is it easy for us to take for granted what we've seen many other people lose time and time again? And we've watched it happen in a blink of an eye to people. So why? It doesn't matter like how dark of a space that you've been in, and it doesn't matter how hard that you have to climb to a top. Majority of people, when they get to that top, it's like they're gonna forget some portion of where they came from and exactly why they need to be humble and thankful for where they're at. Like, why is it so easy? And just to tie this into a bigger worldview, like, we take for granted our freedoms. We take for granted freedom of speech. We take for granted being able to, feed our families, house our families, clothe and take care of our children. But what if we take it all for granted? And it's like days are coming because our enemies are in high places. And I'm telling you, they have plans for people. And if you don't have wisdom, if you don't have divine intervention, if you don't have what it takes to get through, you're going to be like sheep to the slaughter, because our people can never just on our own play the amount of ketchup it would take in order to play on the same game field as our enemies in high places. And we just take all this for granted. What we can do now, what we have right now. I have seen so many people talk about higher doctrines when they can't even master and complete something as simple as Christianity. I've seen people talk about what foods we ought to have when they can't even do the best they can with what they have right now. People want to be teachers and people want to be leaders, but they can't even govern themselves, their family, or their children. People talk about coming against a system that you can't even sacrifice on a daily level to come against the system in the way you can day to day. So it leads us back to why. Why do we take the next breath for granted? Why do we take the next heartbeat for granted? Why? Why do we take it for granted? We don't have time to take things for granted anymore. The whole thing, anyone learns anything from me, is you have to start everything on a small scale. If you don't start standing for freedom and justice where you can daily, you're not going to do it when the race wars start. You're not going to do it when the government starts trying to force people with law. We have to exercise righteousness. We have to use the materials that we have at our disposal right now. Right now. And we have to stop taking it for granted. If we get that next air, that next heartbeat, we got to do our best to make it count, people. This was Empress Urban Divinity. And I just want you guys to ask yourself why. What are you taking for granted? Why? How can you make it more profound? And what more can you do for what it is that you say you stand and believe in? That's it.